Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, May 9th, 2020 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I value the lessons of this moment. And holy moly, we are on the verge of another paradigm shift week, which is just preparing us for paradigm shift summer. So by the end of the week, we will have 3 new planets in retrograde and 2 planets having shifted signs. So prepare for change. Now, today, the major energy that I want to look at in regards to this is the fact that we have the moon in Sagittarius and we have our last day of Saturn direct in Aquarius. And this is so important. Moon in Sagittarius, holding optimism for Saturn in Saturn in Aquarius, bright future, beautiful future, community connected future. Now, it's very interesting to me this whole summer that we're entering. We have 3 eclipses coming in, just like last year. A summer of retrogrades, but it's even more intense than last summer of retrogrades, if you remember that, because we actually are adding in the retrograde of Venus. And then at the end of the summer, early fall, we throw in a Mars retrograde. And Venus and Mars do not go retrograde every year, but in 2020, they are both going retrograde. So we really do want to prepare ourselves for change, which is nice. Moon in Sagittarius, holding space for optimisms, holding space for possibilities, and it is a mutable sign. And mutable is about being able to change. Saturn Aquarius, though, is fixed. So we got a little, hey, let's change. No, wait, I'm good here. Here's the thing that I'm really feeling this week. I really feel like right now the world's kind of pushing to go back to things as normal. We're already seeing things can't go back to the way they were. And they should not. But I really feel like there's going to be a push for everything to go back to normal with Saturn going retrograde, especially when Saturn retrogrades back into Capricorn. It's like, this worked for so long. Let's just hold on to this. And yet we are being pushed. So I really want us to hold, us as the collective, us as the people who are aware of this message, the vision of the possibilities of the future. You know, what have been your lessons over these last several months that have been so topsy-turvy different? What have you learned? Where have you benefited? What good has come from it? I know there's been a lot of struggle, there's been a lot of grief, there's been a lot of fear, and yet there has been so much good that can set a new standard for change. And so really being very in tune with that today, this last day of Saturn direct in Aquarius and that moon in Sagittarius, holding that space for the possibilities of that bright, beautiful future. Now, you don't have to necessarily have a vision of it. It doesn't have to be flying cars and cities built into the sky. Although I think holding a vision of nature making a bit of a return may be a little bit nice. More plants in our backyards, more gardening. But that's my vision. It doesn't have to be your vision, but that is part of my vision. But it's holding that vibrational energy of the possibilities as well, like more community, more communion, more connection, those kinds of things where we can build that kind of energy vibrationally and hold on to that. Because like I said, here come the retrogrades. And I think it's going to be kind of like that slide that's like, whoop, back to the future, or back to the future? No, back to the past. Like, it's going to be, I feel like, a very interesting push and pull over this summer and into the fall with this energy. So hold that awareness and yet hold that light of that vibrational energy that we have been working towards building. Now, Saturn, like I said, on the verge of going retrograde. It will be retrograding in Aquarius until July, and then from July onward for a while, it'll be hanging out, I think it's like till December. It'll be in Capricorn again. So we're going to get some of that Capricorn lessons. But again, Capricorn, we get to build our new foundations, and we don't have to utilize the old ones. We can take the lessons from our old foundations. And yet we do want to remember that this is a time where we are building something new. So just keep that in mind. Hold that space. So speaking of change, we have T-square energy. It deserves jazz hands. We have T-square energy in the mutable signs. So I always say that's kind of like a crosswords. It can be very confusing. The mutable signs, they are the knowledge collectors. So our T-square is Neptune in Pisces, the moon in Sagittarius, and Venus in Gemini energy. So that Venus in Gemini energy, it is taking in all the sights, all the pretty, all of that before it goes retrograde this week. So very hyper stimulated. Like, it's almost like, let me absorb all of this before the retrograde energy pulls me back into these lessons that I've moved over. I do feel like there may be some rebellion from the yin when that Venus goes retrograde, but we will dig into that in the next couple days. So just be aware of that overstimulation that is coming in there. Pisces energy, Neptune and Pisces, there is a divine plan, and yet we are so in the dark about it. We do not know it. There is nobody who knows the full story of what is going on right now except our guides. Those on the other side who can see a much larger picture than us. And this is really a time to tune into that guidance, to tune into that leadership that is there to help support us. What are your guides? How are your guides showing you how to move forward at this time? And again, I feel like with all of the stimulation, it's really easy to get sucked down other rabbit holes, but it's really important that you visit the rabbit holes that belong to you. So really maintain that strong connection. That will help. Even if you're confused, even if it seems foggy, sometimes the fogginess is you don't have all the information, you don't have to act right now. That's a call just to tune in and trust. Moon in Sagittarius, along with the South Node in Sagittarius, we need to be aware of the part of us that thinks that we know what's going on, the part of us that thinks we know everything that we know, even in general. Be aware of that energy. Stay open. Yes, be true to your beliefs, but at the same time, mutable energy, shifting energy. If there is shifting that's happening for you, don't compromise your highest self for holding on to a belief that has truthfully gone poof within you, So be very aware of that with that moon, because sometimes that moon can get a little attached to, well, I know, but we don't. So just be very aware of that energy in and through today. It may feel like a crossroads, not a crossword, a crossroads, and you may not necessarily know which direction to choose. Speaking of that moon is also, I love that, Moon in Sagittarius is connecting to Mars. Mars is finishing up in Aquarius over the next few days. It's one of our planetary shifts this week. It's actually shifting connecting at 11:11 p.m. So gateway energy. Mars is like holding that vision and taking that action, and that moon in Sagittarius, again, the possibilities. We are the creators, and you need to remember that. So we're creating by connecting into this guidance that is helping us tune into the bigger picture of what's going on. Now I have the compromise card in reverse. Don't compromise yourself in and through this. You don't need to compromise your integrity and that vibrational energy of the future that feels so good. Do hold space for that, no matter what you're being told out there. I do have the sorrow card. There is still energies being very processed. This may even be from the moon still. That was a very intense full moon. Let it move through. Be patient with yourself in and through this process. And I would say the patience card doubles down as a get grounded card and triples down as, hey, we're actually on the verge of eclipse season. We're less than a month out from our first of 3 eclipses of the summer. So, so so much coming in. Just be very aware of your personal guidance to help you move through. It means not me and not that other psychic or that other astrologer or that, card puller over there is not to tell you what your highest truth is. The highest truth does live and exist in you, and you're meant to honor that. So, that's it for today. Just that. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and stay curious. Namaste.